Hi guys, and welcome back here today, and let's jump right into it. So previous episode we're doing the swap, so now we are on the function. Now you go back to the inventory and we are gonna basically call the swap information here, right? So we're gonna plug this one there and this one here, and let's jump into the logic. So the logic, what we're gonna do here is that we already know the items. So we know the slots, we know the items, we know everything about them. I think I have a logic that returns the index. It doesn't look like this returns the index, which is a little bit of a shame, because using the index we could just do the logic thing. But what we could actually do here, I'm gonna expand this find item a little bit, because what I would like to do here is that I would like to have access to the index at this point, the array index, so then I can do it easily, right? So when we find a slot based on the index, I am just gonna also create a new variable. It's gonna be a private variable, right? A local, called the item slot index. And I call item slot index, plug it here, and this is when it's gonna be plug it right there, which is good. Now we're gonna get this index and we're gonna plug it right here, right? And we are gonna call this item index, item slot index, right? Compile and save. Why is please fix accessing? What is it complaining? Blueprint is not, item slot is not, okay, so maybe we can, oh, I see, because they have the same name. Okay, item index, yes, sorry, the engine has these weird issues that sometimes if you rename this with the same name of that, it goes crazy. That's why one of the things I don't like about blueprints sometimes is just this thing. Blueprints are amazing, but sometimes they just get these weird issues. Anyway, let's go back here to here, right? So now we find the item. So we are gonna basically find the item index. So we are gonna basically create here, to be honest, we don't need a branch. I'm pretty sure the item will exist. But anyway, so we are gonna basically call this the item from, so item index from. So we got here, copy and paste, and then we need another one, and I am just going to rename that to item, I want to promote this to a variable, of course, and this is going to be item index 2. So this is the where you are going to switch this thing from and to. Now we basically get the item index, so it's easy to swap the items around. All right, now what we are actually doing here is that we just need to copy from one to the other. So we get to the inventory, and we're gonna basically get here the inventory items, and in here we are gonna basically get a ref, and this is gonna be the inventory from. So what we're gonna do here is that we basically need to set up the items here. So I'm just thinking, we get the item right there, we get the item right here. To be honest, guys, we don't need this information because this returns the slot structure. So what you got to do here is that from that, right, from here, we just need to set a member this, right? So this is gonna be the item from. So remember, the item from, right? The item from, actually we need to break, and no, the item from, yeah, that's fine. So the item from the item here, the item from item, it needs to receive here. Actually, let me just do it in a better way because I'm getting a little bit confused. I just want to explain this in a better way. I know what to do, but I just don't want to make it easy. So we have the index, and we're gonna promote here, and we're gonna call this item from. And by the way, should be index. Sorry, item index from and item index to. So then we have the item from. Okay. And then in here, we also gonna create another variable, which is gonna be promoted to a variable, and we are gonna call this the item 2. And this is not fro, this is from. All right. Okay. Now we have this information. We can carry on. So the next thing that we can actually do here is that we are gonna get the items. So get inventory items here. Now what we need to do here is that we need to get the item from and assign the item to, right? So the item from, so get sorry. No, we need to break that, and we need to get a ref. Make sure it's a ref, not a copy, otherwise it won't be. This won't work. Now we need to get the item from. Okay, we need to break it, and here actually we need to set. Remember, we need to set a couple of things: the item and if it's full or not. So, and what we are doing here is basically the item from. We need to get the item to, and we're gonna break it, and we're just gonna get the item and that. So we're just swapping the things around. Okay, that's it. So now we are basically swap the item from. Sorry, make so the item from gets the item to. It's a little bit of a maybe we should find better names for this, but anyway, now we need to do the other way around. So I'm just gonna copy this, paste it right there, right? And now what we're gonna do here is that this index, those two things is different. So now here we get the item from. Now we need to get the item to, right? And here instead of item to, we get the item from, because we're just doing the opposite. And then we make so the item to receive the item from. And now I think that's everything that we need, right? Now we can just do a normal return, which is good. Now we're going to go back here to the inventory items. And now we just need to call the API reload inventory, so that things take effect immediately. And now what we can do here is that we're just going to call this API when the user swap item around. All right. And now here we can maybe put something like that. I'm just going to do when the item swap, when the user, but I mean player. Because this is not a user, it's a player. Now this is everything we need to do here. Now if you go back to the slot item, that was the thing that we're missing out. What you got to do here is that basically you got the inventory widget, and now what we need is that we need to get we need to get the inventory ref, right? And here we need to call the API swap client. Now here's where things get more complicated, but we get there. So item swap needs the item from and then the item to. Okay, so remember, the on drop is always the item to, and the item from is every time the items that it's coming from, right? So we already know the item slot, so we can get this and we can break it. and this is the slot ID, which is this item 2, because it's the one you dropping, right? Now the item, this one here, the swapping items from, is this widget here. So, but we don't have the widget information. There's no way we can actually get that data. We only know the class. So right now, what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna just cast to WBP slot item. I'm gonna plug this one right here and that, and then from that, I'm just gonna get the ST item slot, and then I'm gonna break it and then put the item from. And I'm pretty sure this is not gonna work first try, but let's see. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. I honestly I had no idea this thing was gonna work, but it actually works. I'm very impressed with this stuff. First trial, guys. I remember when I was building this, because I have an inventory called Master Inventory, which you can download it on the store. It took me a long time to figure out this logic, but I think I was just being too dumb. But anyway, so this is how you complete the item swap. And remember, this only works, I mean, it would work for the list as well. It's just because on the list, it doesn't matter, to be honestly. I mean, like here, for example, if you press play, right, and you get this, and that, if you swap them around, you know, they swap around, but after, when you load it, they probably will go back to the, but anyway, it works. You know, it works really well, actually. So I think this concludes the item swapping. Honestly, I was thinking this was going to be a little bit more complicated, but I think this is quite nice the way it works. As you can see, it's quite cool. One thing that I also, we have to do here is that on mouse button down here, right? When we try to, if drag is detected, what we would like to do here as well, just one thing, I mean, you don't have to do it, it's just a nice to have, that make sure that you get the item and you break, right? And you're going to create a branch, and this branch is that if is full, you do that. Otherwise, you just return that and you basically say unhandled. The reason why is because I don't want to be able to move empty items. I still would like to move the window, but I want to only move items that they have a value. Otherwise, it gets a little bit of an issue, right? And yeah, guys, I think that's pretty good. This is pretty much done. And then in the next lesson, what I would like to get us started is the ability to add maybe some stats to this item. So we're probably going to create an attribute system, something very simple but effective, so we can actually use it here. But at this point, you guys have the inventory working in the way that you can even equip items, you can use apples and stuff. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.